Okay, so section 18, since we have almost 2 or 3 weeks hindi tayo nag-meet, so we might rely to online recorded discussions of our topic. Kasi kung magbe-base lang tayo ng face-to-face, baka hindi natin matapos yung discussions. Okay, so I'll discuss this one. So, proteins, structure and functions of proteins. First part is amino acids and the peptides. The second part is more on the structural, different structures of proteins na. Okay? So what we're going to discuss is the structure of amino acid. What is the usual structure? What are the differences and similarities of 20 amino acids? What are the classifications? How are these 20 amino acids are being classified? What is the difference between essential and non-essential amino acid? What is chirality of the amino acid? Does it have a chiral center or is it achiral? And of course, what is the acid-base property of amino acid? What happens to the structure of an amino acid if it is actually subjected to a acid, stronger acid? What if naman it is subjected to a stronger base? So what will happen? So next week, we're going to discuss peptides. Two or more amino acids are considered peptides. And what is the characteristic or identity of a peptide bond? Anong klaseng bond ba ang isang peptide bond? And of course, what is the difference of peptides and of course proteins? So the structure of your amino acid, all of your 20 amino acids, all of them contain the carboxyl group. So in terms of similarities, all of them have or bears the carboxyl group. It also contains the hydrogen group. And lastly, it also contains the amine group or the amino group. However, the differences or what gives the identity of an amino acid is its R group or itatawag nating side chain group. Okay, again, all of the 20 have carboxyl, hydrogen, and amine, while they are different on the R group or side chain, which gives them the identity of the amino acids. And by the way, amino acid can also be written in the usual structure of amino acid is they can be written in this structure form. However, under physiological conditions, physiological pH condition, they can be written in a sweeter iron form, which is actually dipolar ions. It means the structure results into a negative and a positive charges on its structure. So, for example, I have this is alanine. Alanine, when it is subjected to a pH of a solution of 6.02, it becomes a sweeter ion, which is your acid part, which is the carboxyl acid tends to donate hydrogen, so becomes chargedly negative. It becomes a negatively charged. And the base part, which is the amino part, tends to get hydrogen or accepts hydrogen. So therefore, it gains one hydrogen. It becomes positively charged. So this is a structure of a sweeter ion. Your amino becomes positive. Your carboxyl becomes negative. Negative and positive is what you call sweeter ion form. And sweeter ion can only be formed again under physiological condition set for a certain pH for every different amino acid. So for example, if the that certain pH is what you call isoelectric point. This is a pH where a certain amino acid is on its sweeter iron form. So for example, alanine, it will become sweeter ion form if it is subjected to a solution with a pH of 6.02. 6.02 is its isoelectric point or yung PI na tinatawag. Okay? And of course, these 20 amino acids that we have um, are classified into four. You have the non-polar amino acid, the polar neutral amino acid, the acidic amino acid, and the basic amino acid. And by the way, you have to also remember that amino acid contains the alpha carbon. Remember, alpha carbons means it is the carbon directly connected to the carbonyl group or the C double bond O. So on this part of amino acid, the one that bears or contains the carbonyl, of course, the carboxyl. Diba carboxyl is C double bond O O H. So since it has the C double bond O, check where you have to check kung sino yung katabing carbon. So this is yung katabing carbon which is called as the alpha carbon. Again, alpha carbon is the carbon connected directly to the carbonyl group or the C double bond O. Another example. Okay, for example, ganyan. Hmm, okay. So, this is your carbonyl group and the direct carbon connected to that is alpha carbon, which is this one alpha carbon to. This is also an alpha carbon kasi directly. So, it means it has two alpha carbon. And ito naman, kasunod ng alpha is beta. Remember, alpha, beta, sunod doon is gamma, sunod doon delta, and the last one is the epsilon. Okay, so we have 9 non-polar amino acids. So, G, A, Gav, Lim, FWP. So these are your non-polar amino acids which are considered as either aliphatic or aromatic. Remember, aliphatic are the single bonded. Aromatic is like the benzene ring which has a ano, alternating double, single, double. Okay, di ba? One of characteristics in organic chem to be considered as aromatic, it should have alternating double and single bond. Okay? And may calculations kasi yon also. So, next, first one, we have glycine. Your glycine has an the identity of hydrogen. So, yan ang side chain niya or R group niya. And remember, glycine is the only amino acid that doesn't have a chiral carbon. So, no chiral carbon. Why? Kasi as you can see, it does not fit with the category of a chiral which should have four different groups. Ilan lang ba ang different groups niya? Isa, dalawa, and these two are similar. So, tatlo, three different groups. That's why no chiral carbon ang glycine. Remember, glycine, three-letter code niya is GLY or gly. One-letter code niya is G. Tatandaan yan. Next, we have alanine. Alanine's identity is a methyl group. This is its R group. So, it is a three-letter ALA, one-letter A. Okay? ALA, A for alanine. Identity niya is methyl. Next, we have valine versus leucine versus isoleucine. Okay. Valine, Val, or V has the identity of isopropyl. Propyl means 3 carbons, so 1, 2, 3. Iso means V shape. That's why this is isopropyl. Okay? Leucine naman, it is also iso. You should see V shape at the end of the structure, but it contains butyl, which is 4 carbon chain. That's why 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon. So this is isobutyl. So this is isobutyl. Remember, for example, sa exam, which amino acid bears the isobutyl? Leucine po. Which bears the isopropyl? Valine po yun. And next is isoleucine. Huwag po kayo malilito. It doesn't mean isoleucine ang pangalan. Iso ang identity ng R side niya. No, its identity is a secondary butyl. Why? Kasi on it is 4 carbon chain butyl, but on its second carbon, connected ang alpha carbon natin. Kaya siya tinatawag na secondary butyl. Okay, next is our methionine, which bears now the thio ether. Remember, thio is sulfur, ether is a COC. C, single bond, O, single bond, C. But since it is thio instead of a oxygen, it becomes CSC bond. So this is the CSC bond. That means this is a thio ether. Also means it is a methionine. Okay? And next, we have phenylalanine, Phe, F as a one-letter code. You have an aromatic R side chain which is a methyl benzene. And tryptophan is an indole group. It is also aromatic. It has a benzene ring plus a cyclic structure that bears the C, double bond C, and a nitrogen group. Okay? So, this whole part, this is what you call indole. Indole means it has aromatic and a cyclic that contains a C double bond C and a nitrogen group. Next, we have purine. Purine is a cyclic structure. It's not aromatic kasi single bonds lang siya. So, its side chain, it has 3 carbon chain that forms a cyclic structure. So, we have 3 carbon chain as a R side, but it closes the structure to the amino part. That's why it becomes a cyclic structure. Proline, Pro-RP. Again, these are non-polar amino acid. You have glycine as hydrogen, alanine as methyl, valine as isopropyl, leucine as an isobutyl, isoleucine as secbutyl, methionine as thioether, phenylalanine as the methylbenzene, tryptophan or TRPW for the indole group, and proline as a simple cyclic structure. Now let's go to polar amino acid. We only have 6 polar amino acid. Usually this group are the alcohols, phenols, amides, and the thiols. So we have the S, serine, threonine, tyrosine, asparagine, glutamine, and the cysteine. As you can see, serine is the primary alcohol. Means identifying if it is primary, secondary, tertiary, find first the carbon connected to the hydroxyl. And check that carbon if it has other carbon connections. Okay? If it contains one carbon connections, it is primary. If it's two, secondary. If it's three, tertiary. Let's check. We see that the side chain has the carbon OH. Then let's check if that carbon, this carbon, has other carbon connection. So we have other one carbon connected to it, which is one only. That's why it is called primary alcohol for serine. While as threonine, let's check this carbon OH. Ito siya. Let's check if this carbon has other carbon connected, which is this one. 1 and this one 2. Since it has 2 carbon connected, it is called secondary alcohol. Okay? Next, phenol group. Simple lang. A benzene that has the OH. Actually, this is methyl phenol group. Okay? So, ito yung structure niya. Aromatic siya. And this is asparagine, which is asparagine, ASN, glutamine, GLN, or DOQ. This is a beta amide. This is a gamma amide. Remember, this is your carboxyl that contains a carbonyl. That's why this carbon is the alpha carbon. Yung second carbon is the beta. Okay? On the beta carbon, you have a connected amide group. Amide is a C double bond O nitrogen group. Remember po yan. Okay? So, another one, glutamine. Again, this is your carboxyl. Carbon connected to that is the alpha carbon. Susunod is the beta. Susunod is the gamma. On your gamma carbon, you have a connected amide group. So, that is glutamine. Next po is cysteine. Cysteine contains the sulfhydryl or the thiol. Sulfhydryl or the thiol. Okay? So, let's check ulit. In your non-polar, you actually have 2 aromatic, which is the phenylalanine and the tryptophan. But then the rest, the 7, are all aliphatic, single bonded. This one naman, we have 1 aromatics, 2 alcohols, 2 amide, and 1 thiol. Okay, now let's discuss the acidic amino acids, which are the aspartic acid, ASB or D, glutamic acid, GLU or the E. So, aspartic acid is a beta carboxyl group. Carboxyl is a COOH. So, this is your carboxyl part. And the carbon connected to that is the alpha carbon. Sumunod doon is a beta. On the beta carbon daw, there is a carboxyl side chain. So, that's why this is beta carboxyl for aspartic. Now, let's go glutamic. So, this is your carboxyl. Connected to that is alpha carbon. This is your beta. This is your gamma. On the gamma carbon, you have the carboxyl group. That's why gamma carboxyl ang glutamic acid natin. Now, let's go to basic amino acid. You have three: lysine, arginine, and your histidine. So, lysine, lys or K, is an epsilon. So, remember, carboxyl again, to that. Connected to that is alpha. Sumunod is beta, gamma, delta, epsilon. On your epsilon, there is an amino group. Okay? Arginine is called guanidino group. Means it contains 1, 2, 3 nitrogen group. The 3 nitrogen group is a guanidino group. Another one, imidazole, is an aromatic structure that bears the 2 nitrogen group on the aromatic structure. That is called imidazole. So when we say now essential versus non-essential amino acids, essential are necessary for our body. It is needed by our body, but our body cannot synthesize them. That's why we have to get them from the diet. Okay? So these are needed by the body, but cannot be synthesized by our body. That's why you have to take them or obtain them from the diet. So usually these are for infants. And these are all, the rest are for adults. The chirality of amino acid is actually L-N-dextro. Okay? Levo corresponding to the position of a nitrogen group at the left side. Dextro corresponding to the nitrogen group on the right side. Okay? Kung sa carbohydrates, the most abundant is dextro. In amino acid, the most abundant in nature are on a levo position. Ito yung dinidiscuss ko kanina na glycine doesn't have chiral center because it only has 1, 2, this one is considered only 3 different groups. Kaya no chiral center. Okay? Okay. The acid-base property of amino acids depends on the pH and pKa. Okay, let's discuss. pKa is stability. Remember in your Anachem, pKa is stability to dislodge hydrogen or remove hydrogen. If the pKa is lower than its pH or isoelectric point, most probably, it is deprotonated. But if the pKa is much higher than the pH, it is protonated. Remember that ha. If pKa is lower than the pH, which is higher, it is deprotonated. But if pKa is higher, pH is lower, it is protonated. Okay, let's check alanine again. Soburahin ko muna to. Sulat ko lang. Sabi na, pH higher, pero pKa is lower. Deprotonated or removal of hydrogen. Lower pH pero pKa is higher, protonated. Let's see alanine. Which is NH2. Tapos may CH3 as its identity. Let's check which part of this will dislodge hydrogen. Okay, so alanine has pKa of 2.34 and its isoelectric point, meaning at that pH or isoelectric point, it can become a sweeter iron form. So, ang pH daw is 6.02. pKa of COOH is lower, but pH is much higher. Again, kapag pKa is lower, pH is much higher, you should deprotonate or you remove hydrogen. That's why sa kanyang sweeter iron form, it becomes COO negative. O, check naman natin yung amino part. Its amino part is 9.69. Its isoelectric point or pH is again 6.02. Much higher ang pKa dito, much lower ang pH. Therefore, pag pKa is higher, pH is lower, you have to protonate. You add hydrogen. That's why NH2 plus 1 becomes NH3 positive. So, itong itsura ng alanine at isoelectric point of 6.02. It becomes the sweeter ion form. At certain conditions, if you subject sweeter ion in a lower pH, it becomes acidic. But if you subject it to high pH, it becomes basic. So what will happen? Okay, for example, alanine. Okay, this is its sweeter ion form at the pH of 6.02. Subject to in a pH of 2. So I'll add acid to the solutions of this. Again, this is an acid, a stronger acid, has the ability to donate its hydrogen to its corresponding reagent. So, which part of the sweeter ion can receive that hydrogen? Of course, dalawa lang yan sa dipolar yung pagpipilian. It's either on the amine group or the carboxyl. But amine is already positively charged. It means it has extra hydrogen. Therefore, the carboxyl will receive it. Since it has lacking connections, kulang siya ng bonds, kaya ka siya negatively charged, diba? So, at a pH of 2, sinubject yung sweeter ion, dinagdagan ng acid. So, the carboxyl part will receive that hydrogen. So, its new structure at an acidic forms becomes like this. Okay? Again, yung cedar ion, lagay mo lang siya sa pH of 2 by adding stronger acid, which for example, hydrochloric acid. The acid that will be the hydrogen that will be dislodged by the acid will be received by your carboxyl, becoming COOH. O now, what if naman yung sweeter ion subject natin into a stronger base. For example, pH of 10. Okay? So, means it as bases can accept hydrogen, can grab hydrogen. So, therefore, on the sweeter ion, the one that has extra hydrogen, of course, the amino group. So, magiging new structure niya at a pH of 10 will be NH3 positive minus 1. So, it becomes NH2. Okay? Please remember that kapag sweeter ion, you can see the dipolar parts. You can see the positive and the negative part. But if it is on an acid, you will only see the positive and the whole COOH. But if it is in a pH of 10, will also see COO negative and the NH2. Remember that po Okay, let's actually try. This one, let's identify the ionization state of arginine is in its zwitterionic form. Nasaan dito ang acid part, nasaan dito yung sweeter ion, nasaan dito ang basic part. Remember, you have to check kung nasaan yung carboxyl. This is your carboxyl. This is your amine. And most probably, this is your alpha carbon. And this one, whole part na to is your side chain. And hydrogen, di ba kapag line angle, pwede nang hindi ilagay ang hydrogen. So, mayroong invisible hydrogen. O, sige na, dito. Okay, o, ayan na. So, you have your alpha carbon, your nitro, your carboxyl, and your side chain. So, we're going to check only the carboxyl and the nitro. Remember, C, double bond O, OH ang nandyan sa structure and the NH3 positive. Diba, remember, kapag ang lumabas ay COOH at NH3, nasa acidic form tayo. So, yung one is acidic form. Okay? O, check natin yung pangalawa. O, para mas madali. Carboxyl, check. Ang carboxyl mo ay naka-COO negative. Then, the nitro, which is NH3 positive. O, pareho silang naka-negative and positive, meaning dipolar. This is the sweeter ion part. Okay, check natin number 3. You have COO, negative, and you have NH2. So, di ba kapag COO negative, then NH2 nasa structure, this means this is a basic form. Check naman natin. COO negative, NH2. So, meaning this is also on a basic form. Okay? And now, let's discuss peptides. So, your peptides should be, your peptides are combinations of 2 or more amino acids. Okay? You should read peptides. You should start peptides on the N-terminal papuntang C-terminal. Okay? So, yun po. That's why on the first amino acid here, ang orientation, you'll see first the amino group kasi nga you will start the N-terminal. And the amino acid number 2 ends with the carboxyl. Kasi nga you should always end with the carboxyl. Okay. What is the connection or the bond between these amino acids? Okay. Since the amino acid 1 has the N-terminal, ang nasa dulo niya is the carboxyl part. Okay? While sa amino acid, you see the amino group. Okay. What part of the carboxyl of first amino acid and amino group of the amino group of the amino acid number 2? Okay. In amino acid number 1, it will dislodge hydroxyl on the carboxyl part of the amino acid number 1. Okay? Ano po yung i-dislodge niya? I-remove niya to make a bond. Etong hydroxyl part ng carboxyl ng amino acid number 1. While as amino acid number 2 will have to dislodge hydrogen on the amine group of amino acid number 2. So, nasan po siya dito? Itong hydrogen na to sa amine group ng amino acid number 2 will be dislodged. Of course, OH plus another hydrogen, it becomes water. So now what's the connection? So since an amino acid number 1, you remove the hydroxyl part, so it becomes C double bond O and unbonded electron. Same as well with nitrogen. You remove the hydrogen, it because the unbonded it has the unbonded electron. Now it will form what you call this one, a peptide bond. Peptide bond is a C double bond ONH, which is also called as amide bond. So, itong part na to, nag-connect yung dalawang amino acid is called peptide. It is also called as an amide bond. Amino acids bonded together by a peptide are generally referred to as amino acid residues. Okay, remember class, amino acid that is already on a peptide chain, they can be called as residues or amino acid residues. Okay? Kagaya nito, alanine, tatanggalan ng hydroxyl dito, tatanggalan ng isang hydrogen kay amino group ng serine. Once it is being removed, they bond. This is called peptide or amide bond also. So, you have to remember again, pag short chain, up to 50 peptides. Kapag long chain amino acid, or more than 50, so 51 up, hindi kasama yung 50, 51 up is already called as polypeptides. Okay, how do we actually name peptide chains? Okay, this is alanine, this is tyrosine, aspartic acid, and glycine. All amino acid except the ending amino acid. Ending amino acid should retain the name E or the glycine. Kung glycine siya, glycine. But the rest, for example, tyrosine, change E to il, it becomes tyrosinyl. Ano pa? Aspartic to aspartyl. Alanine to alanyl. Okay? Alanine. Ito naman, I-N-E, tinanggal, so it becomes alanyl. Ganun lang. That's why its name is alanyl, tyrosinyl, aspartyl, glycine. What are the 3-letter codes dito? Since it starts with NH3, you write the NH3. So this is ALA, TYR, as ASP, GLY, and of course, you should end with COO, negative. Same as well with 1-letter code. NH3, ALA is A, tyrosine is Y, aspartic acid is D, glycine is G, and its ending is also COO, negative. Or let's have an example. Let's name them. This is your first amino acid. This is the carboxyl part. This is the amino part. So, meaning this is your alpha carbon. So, sa alpha carbon na to, may na-connect kang amino, meron ka nang nakitang carboxyl part. And the hydrogen cannot be seen kasi nga kaya pwede siyang hindi ilagay sa line angle. Ano yung side chain niya? So, wala kang nakikitang other connections, meaning the other connected is a hydrogen. So, nakatago din yung hydrogen niya. So, this is the one that doesn't have, the one that has the hydrogen as side chain is called glycine. The one that has the hydrogen is your glycine. Okay, remember, di ba? Hydrogen, glycine. Second amino. Okay, this is the nitrogen group. This is the carboxyl, meaning this is your alpha carbon. On the alpha carbon, syempre automatic may hydrogen dyan. And yung side chain natin, may makikita tayong ganitong this is your carbon, this is your hydroxyl. So remember, COH tong part na to. The carbon on the COH has one carbon connected, which is alpha carbon lang, itong part lang na to. So this is a primary alcohol, which is a serine. Okay. Next. So next, this is your nitro. This is your carboxyl. This is your alpha carbon. And you have a side chain that has 1, 2, 3, which is an isopropyl. Diba? Pag isopropyl, pangalan niya, it's valid. Next, nitro, amine group, carboxyl, and you have here this methyl group, which is alanine. The fifth one, you have here amine, the carboxyl, and you have the methyl and the sulfhydryl, which is a cysteine. Oh, except, paano siya pangalanan? So, lysinyl, serinyl, valanyl, alanyl, except the ending buuin, cysteine. So, yun ang pangalan niya as a peptide. Paano kapag 3-letter code? You start with NH3, sunod ay gly, sunod ay ser, sunod ay val, sunod ay ala, sunod ay CYS, sunod ay COO negative. Paano kapag 1-letter code naman? NH3 positive, so GSV C, COO negative. Okay. So you have to remember, peptides are 2 to 50 amino acid residues. Greater than 50 residues is already polypeptides. Now, polypeptide that has shape na, that has structures, it is now called as proteins. This is an example of a peptide hormone, which is insulin. This is an example of a protein na with structure, which is hemoglobin. So now let's go to the second part of the discussion. Okay, now let's go to protein structures and functions. Okay, so proteins may serve different functions such as structure, especially sa skin and sa hair, collagen, elastin sa skin, and sa bones also, mga cartilages natin, and so on. Keratin for hair. Okay? Catalysis enzymes. Remember, enzymes, all enzymes are proteins. Tanan. But not all proteins are enzymes. Okay? For storage, examples are casein and ovalbumin. We also have ferritin that stores iron in the liver. Transport, proteins, hemoglobin transports oxygen from the lungs to other tissues of your body. Regulation, upregulation, downregulation of insulin glucagon. Receptors, these are your neuron receptors. You also have your myosin, actin, movement ng muscles, antibodies, fibrinogens for the blood clotting. Ito lang din tiniskas ko kanina. Keratin sa hair, myoglobin, oxygen, also. Hemoglobin, also oxygen. insulin, protein, hormones synthesized in the pancreas for the glucose levels, ferritins, iron in the liver, actin, myosin sa movement ng muscles, collagen, cartilages, fibrous, and connective tissues. So we have different levels of protein structures. Primary structure is just amino acids and the peptide bond. Wala pa siyang shape. Secondary structure, there's already coiling, there's already a shape because of the hydrogen bonding. Tertiary structure, a more complex structure caused by many reasons na. So later makita natin ano yung mga bonds, ano yung mga reasons na bakit siya nag-coil, nagkakaroon ng shape. And quaternary, combination of two or more tertiary structures. Okay, primary structure only contains the amino acid and peptide. There is no coiling, there is no shape because there are no factors to make the shape of the primary. Primary structures are important, especially in identifying the differences of substances, kagaya ng vasopressin and oxytocin. They have almost the same number of and identity of amino acid, but they have little differences, such as in amino acid number 2, uh, vasopressin, which is antidiuretic, contains arginine, while as oxytocin contains the leucine. At number 7, amino acid, they are also different. Vasopressin contains the phenylalanine, oxytocin contains the isoleucine. So another reason for the importance of the sequence, mutations, such as the sickle cell anemia. Instead of a glue, which is a glutamic acid, uh, we have valine here. Okay, so it becomes sickle. Instead na this shape siyang perfect, because of the mutation, it becomes sickle cell. Okay, now let's discuss secondary structures, which are stabilized most likely by the hydrogen bonding because of the C double bond O of the carboxyl part and the NH of the part of the amino acids. So, as you can see here, yung carboxyl part ng isang amino acid has hydrogen bonding with the NH part of the other amino acid, causing what you call here a spring-like structure. We have two types of secondary, which is an alpha helix, which is an helical structure. Nakamukha siyang spring. We also have the beta-pleated sheets. So, this is the usual representation of the alpha helix. Ito naman yung beta-pleated sheets. This is the helical or alpha helix. This is the beta-pleated, which can be anti-parallel beta-pleated sheet or a parallel beta-pleated sheet. Okay? Okay, so in alpha helix, hydrogen bonding are connected by C double bond O and the nitrogen group or amine part ng isang amino acid. It is 1 to 4 amino acid. For example, valine, ala, serine, tyrosine. Yung C double bond O ng valine is hydrogen bonded to the NH part ng tyrosine. So, first to fourth ang connection nito. 1 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 16 in every fourth amino acids. So, ano pang dapat tandaan dito? In every turn, for example, sige, gawa ako. Kita mag-drawing. Okay. This is one turn. In every turn, every complete rotation contains 3.6 amino acids. And the space between one turn to another turn, okay, as you can see, this is another turn. Okay? Yung space between the first to second turn, this one, yung ending ng first turn to the ending of the second turn. So, itong part na to is what you call the pitch. So, yung pitch na yan, turn to turn is called pitch. It has a size of 0.54 nanometer. Okay? And the space between the amino acid and the amino acid of the next turn is called rise. So, rise is around 0.15 nanometer. Next, we have helix destabilizers. These are the reasons kung bakit nasisira ang isang hindi siya perfect helical structure. Um, Presence of helix breakers. Purline. Purline is cyclic. Di ba ang structure niya ay, ano structure nito? Purline is a cyclic acid structure. Di ba? So, since it is bulky, nahihirapan mag-form ng magandang helical structure. Sobrang bigat niya. Sobrang taba niya. Glycine also is as the stabilizer or helix breaker kasi of the presence of the extra hydrogen. It can form hydrogen bonding with the carbonyl. Electrostatic, ito yung mga acids and bases natin. Remember, ang side chain ng acids are carboxyl also. Ang side chain ng bases is amino. May mga nitrogen yan. So, it can also form hydrogen bonding. Steric strain, lahat ng aromatics natin. Lahat ng may benzene, matataba. So, nakakasira ng perfect helix. A usual helix is isang polypeptide chain lang. But we do have what you call double helix. An example of a double helix is keratin. We also have the triple helix, which is the collagen. So, tatlong peptide chains. Now, let's go to another type of secondary structure, which is a beta pleated sheets. It is also hydrogen bonding of the carbonyl and an H group of amino acids. It can be formed by two or more polypeptide lined side by side. Okay? So, for example, you have two types, the anti-parallel. When you say anti-parallel, one starts with the C-terminal and the other one has the N-terminal. Kaya siya anti-parallel. But pag parallel, C to C terminal or N to N terminal siya. Okay? Aside from that, the hydrogen bonding here is straight chain. While as in parallel, the hydrogen bonding is diagonal. You have to remember that anti-parallel has the stronger hydrogen bonding than the parallel because of the gap of the hydrogen bonding. The closer the gap, the stronger the hydrogen bonding. Tatandaan niyo na. So, this is an example of a structure of a substance that both contains an alpha helix and also contains the beta-pleated. This one is anti-parallel beta-pleated sheets. Silk-filled brine. Okay? Now, let's go to tertiary structures. There are many reasons na kung bakit nagkakaroon ng folding. We have covalent bond. Covalent bonds, disulfide bridges are also called as covalent bonds or under the covalent bonds. Hydrogen bonding. So, for example, in covalent bonds, disulfide, what if, for example, cysteine contains a sulfur, diba? Disulfide is S to S bond. So, kung paano, for example, si cysteine, nagkaroon ng disulfide bond with another cysteine, instead na paano siya, pa straight chain, liliko ngayon yung chain mo, magkakaroon ng bending. So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng coiling na tinatawag. You also have hydrogen bonding, especially glycine. Okay? But if may glycine dun sa structure natin, it can form hydrogen bonding. Disulfide bridges also as an example of covalent bond. Salt bridges. These are your acids. Lahat ng acids na amino acid and bases na amino acid. For example, sa structure, meron akong aspartic acid na encounter si histidine, which is a base. Aspartic is acid, histidine is base. So, liliko din yung structure niyan kapag nag-bond itong dalawang to because of the salt bridges. Hydrophobic interactions, mga non-polar. Yung mga non-polar kagaya ng isoleucine at valine, nag-meet sila, di magko-coil din yung protein. Another reasons, metal-ion coordination. Ito yung bakit yung hemoglobin, bakit siya may iron. Myoglobin, bakit din siya may iron? So, ganon. Nagkakaroon din ng reason for folding din sa structures. Kagaya nito, paano for example, magnesium to? So, because of that, itong isang amino acid, kukonect sa magnesium. Itong amino acid, kukonect sa magnesium. Ito yung cause bakit siya nag-coil ng ganito. Ano pa? O, paano kung may cysteine dito? May cysteine dito. So, yun din yung reason kung bakit nagka-coil dito, which is disulfide or covalent. Ito, NH3. Kunwari, lysine yan. Kunwari, ito ay aspartic. Nag-meet sila. So, yun din yung reason kung bakit nag-coil yung part na to. So, these are the reasons now why there's a shape, there's a structure on your proteins. An example of a tertiary is a myoglobin that contains this one, iron. So, meron siyang metal-ion coordination. It is monomeric protein. It is a monomer. So, tertiary structure siya. Okay. Now, let's go to a bigger one, which is a quaternary. Again, it's not quarter. It's quaternary. Combination of two or more two tertiary structure. So, pag one tertiary lang, of course, monomer. Pag dalawang tertiary, dimer. Pag tatlong tertiary, trimer. Pag apat na tertiary, tetramer. Tatandaan ka ha. These are, itong tatlong to, dimer, trimer, tetramer are all called quaternary. Kasi combination na siya ng two or more tertiary structures. Okay? So, hemoglobin is an example of a tetramer. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 tertiary structures, which is an alpha subunit and a beta subunit. So protein classification based on shape, you have fibrous and globular. Based on composition, you have simple and also conjugated. Fibrous proteins, ang example niya is alpha keratin. They are quite insoluble in water. And they are parang long sheets, malalaking sheets ng fibrous. So collagen and keratin, they are insoluble in water. Globular, more on a spherical shape, such as the hemoglobin, albumin, myoglobin, lactase. Again, lactase, all enzymes are proteins. Tatandaan na. They are quite soluble in water because yung mga nasa labas na side ng structure niya or protruding outside are polar. Okay? Amino acids. While as yung nandoon sa loob, naka-embed inside are the non-polar amino acids. That's why it is quite soluble in water. Now, let's classify by composition. Kapag amino acids lang, its structure, its bonding, they are called simple, such as albumin. But if there is already a incorporated prosthetic, which is the lipid, carbs, and the metal ions, it is already called conjugated. Kaya gaya ng hemoglobin, di ba sa hemoglobin, meron siyang iron sa loob. It is not as simple. It is already called as conjugated protein. Your proteins can be denatured. Okay. It can be denatured. When you say denatured, it loses its structure. Therefore, it loses its functions. The target of denaturating agent is to lose the structure of the protein. Sino ba yung nagbibigay ng structure ng protein? These are the bonds. Okay? Ito lahat ang sinisira ng denaturating agent. Yung mga covalent bonds na yan, hydrogen bonding na yan, disulfide bridges na yan, salt bridges, hydrophobic reactions, and metal ion coordinations. So, sila ang target ng denaturating agents to lose the structure of the proteins. And remember, you can only lose the structure of protein. You could only denature the secondary, the tertiary, and the quaternary structure, but not the primary. Kasi primary is just a sequence of amino acid. Peptide lang yan. Wala pang structure. Okay? But if you're going to ask na renaturate po ba, nababalik to its original structure, yes. But it can be done in the laboratory na. Usually, these are oxidizing agents. Okay? So, what are those denaturating agents? So, high temperature, vigorous shaking, hydrostatic, UV radiation, acids, bases, salt, organic, reducing agent, detergents, and heavy metals. So, high temperature, detergents, acids and bases can target your hydrogen bonding. Ano pa? Organic solvents and also reducing agents can target disulfide bridges. Okay? Tandaan po yan. Can you hydrolyze your protein, or can protein be degraded into amino acids? Yes po. We have what you call protein hydrolysis. So remember, during, di ba, in peptide formation, you remove water. So now, baliktad. To break that bond, you have to add water to actually form smaller peptides and also to form also amino acids. So this one, i-discuss nyo na to sa lab sa protein metab. Okay? Ayun lang po for this one.